attitude. There we go. All right. Okay, we out there. I was just making sure we was out there. Here we go. Still rolling, okay. Let the theme song roll all the way on out. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ear to the Ground 197. I'm your host. My name is Bryan Foley. I sit up here and let the theme song roll all the way on out for those who y'all haven't familiar with it. You know, our theme here is all power to the people. And that was Alicia Reynolds singing lead on that right there. That's my main man from the Dramatics, Mr. R.J. Reynolds' niece. And she got some new music coming out, and we're going to introduce that here live on Ear to the Ground 197. I see you early this morning, Gail, and welcome everybody to Ear to the Ground 197. We got a little special edition. We're going a little early this morning because I got my main man up in here, and I do mean my main man, Mr. Tony Warren of Inkster's own Funketeers. And we may give y'all a little history, what's going on and what's happening, man. This is my partner. I ain't seen him in a minute. If y'all don't know that, me and him, we run real tight. And I've been doing little things different. I ain't been in the spaces I'm supposed to be at. You get what I'm saying? But it is what it is, you know. So, partner, what's going on this morning, man?
Oh man, you know, just staying in my lane, man.
Yeah. Why don't you let me pull that microphone up there to you a little bit, or you can pull on in. Yeah. Okay, you got him right there. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Staying in your lane, man.
Staying in my lane.
Okay, that's kind of hard to do, man. And you know.
It is.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of work to stay in your lane, man. Distractions or what have you come about, but you know, I try to let my God, you know, my higher power guide me,
right?
You know, to where I need to be, man.
Right.
You know, like he doing you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I understand that we have to understand the assignment, man, to continue down the path. You know?
Yeah, I didn't set out to do this at all, and you one of the first ones to know, man. You know, I didn't set out to do no podcasts or be interviewing folks and stuff like that, man. But you know, it comes with the territory in that life that we live. You get what I mean, service, and you know, both of us got that gift of gab. You know, what I mean? We got it honestly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say this real quick, man. Then we're gonna get into it. The Funketeers, Inkster's own, right? Now, I ain't never told you this. But when y'all was performing here in Ipsy, I was away in the service. So I had never ever seen the Funketeers perform, ever in my life. So the Funketeers hadn't performed for over 40 years, right? Close to 40 years.
Close, yeah.
Close to 40 years, right? But for the sake of everybody want to know, they performed for the first time in 40 years at the Park Ridge Summer Festival. Y'all used to perform what was called the Black Festival back in the day.
Yes, sir.
But it was me. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. It was me who created the reunion and brought the Funketeers back together so they could perform as a group for the first time in 40 years. Now I got the man right here. Go ahead and let the people know, Tom.
Yeah, I have to give you your just due.
Right.
You have a vision.
Right.
You got your ear to the ground.
Right.
I mean, literally. Yeah. Because you had been talking to me about this, months, maybe a year or two prior. And, I had my own resistance to the idea, because it was like I was in a different lane at the time, doing things, as you know, I'm a social worker. And so I'm trying to get that thing to a comfort level that I was happy with. But this with your interest, your enthusiasm, your push.
I couldn't let that sit on the shelf, man, because we talked and we dialogued. I said, hey man, y'all need to come out here and perform, man. But so Inkster, man, that's my sister city, our sister city. And Ypsilanti is y'all Inkster city. There's really no separation between the two. You get what I mean?
No.
And y'all got y'all name up on this sign up there. Welcome to Inkster. It says home of the world famous or world renowned Funketeers.
Yes, sir.
But that kind of came out later on, man, because you lost one of the members, man.
Yeah. We lost our partner Cricket, aka Damon Ellerson. And man, look, man, we this thing has always been about neighborhood. What we did in the neighborhood, what our community was about. Back when they was breaking dancing in New York as opposed to fighting, we was out here in our streets dancing and singing and doing what we could do to have fun in the community. Well, you know how it was, man. Back then we throw a little hands if it got to that, but it was never as intensely blown up as it has gotten to be as of late. So, that was a way that kept us out of trouble, kept us, and Damon Cricket, he was a big part of the community. I mean, the guy was, he was famous. He was famous
on his own, right?
Before we even started dancing, the dance just took it to another level.
Right. Yeah, you can't see it right here on the TV screen, but that's Tony right there. Right.
Yes.
And they go Cricket right over there, man. You know what I'm saying? I got him up there. Yeah, Cricket. Hey, man, I've been always wanted to ask you this, right, Tone? Now, my understanding, see, the Funketeers, that was Boosie Collins. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are stretching out a rubber band, and he used to say, and Funketeers, right?
Rubber band,
right? Rubber band. We stretching out, and you know what I'm saying? How'd y'all come up with the name Funketeers?
Well, now here's the thing. You treading on delicate territory.
Right. That's what we do here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, there was a homeboy in Inkster who came up with the name. He's no longer with us. But for the sake of not divulging too much information, because there is a informational documentary coming out.
I'll get into that.
About the dance.
Okay.
So that is information that I'm gonna say.
Okay, well that's
for that particular.
So I don't get no exclusive, man. I can't get no exclusive.
We're a brotherhood, man. The Funketeers, man, and they sat me down, man, and gave me a good talking to about this is what you want to talk about, and this.
Because I did see in the comment, because I posted it to the page. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can't remember who said it, but was it Ed who said it? Ed said, "Represent well." You get what I mean?
Yeah. That was Mike Kelly.
That was Mike Kelly who said that.
AKA Mike Bo.
Okay.
And so it behind closed doors. And, it's like to do things in order, just like you would with any other organization, man,
Right.
that's withstood the task of time,
Mhm.
you take it to the board.
Okay, right.
And when you go to the board,
Yeah,
you say,
exactly.
hey, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Is it okay with the board? And
Thank
the board says, yeah, our only concerns are.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. We know that, right? I'm saying, and so y'all got structure. You get what I mean? And that's how we function too. You get what I'm saying? We function as you will as a democracy, you know, and ain't none one of us is bigger than the other. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I mean? We going through and we have a group conscience, if you will.
A group conscience,
yeah, before we make decisions, right? But hey, man, how did it feel, man, to have your name put on the city's welcome sign? Y'all was on channel 247, channel 5062. All around the country, right? Man, how'd that feel, man?
Man, it was both heartbreaking and
right
and surreal. You know, like, you know, this is really happening 40 years later. We getting this type of recognition. Our main goal was to represent our city. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a town that's similar to Ypsilanti in the respect that we rep our city, man. So that whole idea of putting your town on the map was important to us. Right. Like that was like a sole purpose. You know, a lot of people set out to be famous. We set out to put our town on the map.
And y'all did it well, man. You know what I'm saying? Did it well, you know. So much so, you know, the dance, the Funketeer, right? Let me say this: who created the dance? Let's start right there. Well, that got to be held to the document.
Again, that's information that we gonna hold back for the people. And see, all I'm trying to do, man, is keep the interest up about the information that's coming out. So I'm inclined to answer that only on the basis that. But I'll say this. I'll say this. We did.
Y'all did. Okay, we did. Okay, that's slick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, take like dances like the JIT. You get what I mean? And you know, I can't divulge, you get what I'm saying? We ain't gonna get into it, but everybody know about the JIT, you get what I mean? And there's something about that with the JIT, with the Funketeer, right? But when you told me the backstory, you know, I kind of know the backstory on how the dance came about and who brought it up, you get what I'm saying? But as I look around, not simply around the state, hey, here go Kelly right here. Not Kelly, but Valerie Bond Kelly. Valerie Kelly Bond. She say, "What up, Inktown fam? My brother, classmate, and friend."
Girl.
Yeah, Val out there. Yeah,
doing her own thing. Black coffee,
black coffee, no peace. Yeah, black coffee, no cream. You know what I'm saying? No sugar, no cream out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but yeah, you kind of shared that with me, right, a little bit. But as I look around, man, and I'm looking at dances all around the country and around the world, some folks have incorporated y'all style into their movement, man.
Yeah, well, you know, with the power of technology today, the internet, I mean, that's what we're doing here. You know, we have a platform, man, to advance whatever's going on. And the beauty of it is you know, we did a thing in Inkster, kind of a recognition at an all-school class reunion for a school that's no longer present in the physical. However, the spirit of that community still reps. And what they did was they asked us to come out and do a little something. It was the same year as the Summer Fest. As the Summer Fest. We had no idea. Cricket was alive. You know, we were just trying to represent, man. We weren't really trying to get the band back together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll make that real plain. I was trying to get the band back.
You know, you're a visionary, man. And you got to be giving them props. You know, there's a passion that came up. But anyway, to stay on top of it, man, these things have, like, you got the lockers. You know, you got the wave and the groups that personify these dance moves. And we've always been, you know, to be grouped in a group of guys called so-called street dancers that transition to stages and were able to make an impact, man. I'm honored to be a part of something that big. And, you know, our thing was always, you know, footwork, movements, certain intricate movements. But we always kept things exclusive, which gave it that mysterious feel of how are they doing that and why is it so special when they do it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Not that we were, I've never said we were the best, even though of course that's what we believe, but I've always said we were unique enough. Right. So that part of being who we were kept us relevant. Right.
Yeah, I hear somebody ringing the doorbell. Told them to come on in. The door should be unlocked. But y'all was a staple on the scene in the new dance show. And let me say this: if y'all want to see, those of you who may not be familiar with the Funketeers, go type in on YouTube and type in Funketeers and a new dance show or the scene.
Yes.
And you can get something, see some of them videos, or you can go on Facebook and you can go on to the page, what is called the Funketeer Dances.
Yes, sir.
And go on there, you get what I'm saying? And y'all can see them on the page and scroll on down. And then also on the page too, you can see all the folks doing various versions or spin-off and see how that Funketeer dance went on, and what have you. But y'all was on another show too, man. What was that show y'all was on?
Wow.
The Solid Gold
Dance Fever.
Dance Fever. Yeah.
That was a WDIV, which is Channel 4 production back in the 80s. And Danny DeVito, he had his little run. But man, the interesting thing about it was we auditioned. That was the first year that they had couples, male on male couples, as opposed to male female couples. We auditioned at 2 different locations. And 4 out of 5 members went. Right. Now, we won the trip and we won to be on the show. Now, when you actually get to that level, second place doesn't win, and we both hit second place as far as, and it was for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? That the politics of national TV at that time, but hey man, the experience, the mystique, everything that was involved in being at that level, man, was surreal, man. It was like, wow, man, we still going strong.
Right. Tracy said good morning. What's going on?
Good morning.
And then I'm gonna do something, man. I'm gonna walk in front of this camera because you heard the doorbell ring, and I think that's the superintendent coming on next. Even the door is unlocked. She had never been here, right? But Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, owned by my good friends Carlos Franklin, Andrea Franklin, Kip Johnson, and Athena Johnson. Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center is located in beautiful downtown Ypsilanti, right across the street from the public library. Also, Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center is brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Production, owned by my sister Tracy. Man, she took care of me and JB. Boss of the Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
She took care of, we're trying to get Boss of the Hot Sauce to come on in, but she took care of her and Vita Hesterly, them to my sisters. Can't forget about to mention Vita Hesterly when I'm talking about Tracy Sweet Touch Production, because that's her right-hand girl. She's just up in there. But Vita cooked a meal for me, Boss, and the hot sauce, man. That was something else. You get what I mean? And JB was y'all's DJ.
That's my DJ.
Right. And that's when we started talking about the Ipsy Inkster connection. You get what I mean? And then Cricket had relatives, the Ellison family here. You know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do is I am going to go out here and open the door up, and I'm gonna allow you the people to talk to the people about this documentary right quick. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, hey, good people. On the Funketeer page, some of y'all may have seen we were on location at the Safari, which I always affectionately call it the Safari roller rink, but it's actually called the Inkster family roller rink now. And that is a special in our hearts location. So we are working on it. I'm gonna keep that information kind of low key because I want to allow the documentary to speak for itself. I appreciate my partner me and Bryan have been cool for, wow, 10, 15 years here. Neither one of us had an idea that these type of things would be happening in our lives at this point in history. So we do appreciate each and every one of you. And I appreciate you, Bryan, but
Tracy said talking to the microphone. You know what I mean?
Talking to the microphone.
Yeah, that was the school superintendent coming in. She came into the door. I probably gave her the wrong directions and stuff like that. And I gave her to the wrong directions. And so I had to go get her and open the door and stuff like that. But Tracy said for you to talking to the microphone,
Tell Sister Tracy, yeah. I said thank you.
Yeah. And speaking of Y1, we ask that you type Y1 into the comments. We ask that you hit like, and when they ask that you hit share. And why do we ask you to do that? Is because I believe Dr. A, I was told to call you, somebody to call you Dr. A. So, right. Because I believe in Ypsilanti first. But also what it does is stimulates the algorithm so that people can know that this show is out here and what's going on. So I ask you to type in Y1 into the comments, like, and then share. Y1, like, and share, because I believe in Ypsilanti first. So Tony, you was talking about the documentary a little bit and what's up and coming with it and stuff like that. And like I said, I walked away from stuff. I'm kind of unprofessional what I'm doing. I just do what I want to do in this show. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how I roll. You get what I mean? So I kind of miss everything. So I appreciate you holding it down. You always hold it for me down, man. And we got this interchangeable relationship, between me and you. If you can't get to the task at hand and you ask me to get to it, and if I can't get to the task at hand, I ask you to do it. But it's been more lately, you've been handling my work. You get what I mean, out here on that, on the situations than I have been handling yours. And I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at a time when I needed, the guidance of a big brother, so to speak. I didn't have my team as I grew up with. You filled the gap. Oh. So you taught me some things that I can now put into action in real life. So, hey, man, now it's my duty to step up to the plate when asked.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you one more thing, man, and we're going to do this right here. I'm going to put it on the spot because Dr. A, you didn't catch it in the beginning coming in, right? But the Funketeers, she might not know about the Funketeers because she's not from this neck of the woods. But
yeah.
I kind of got them back together for over 40 years. I'm gonna keep popping my collar on that one, stuff like that. But dig this here, man. Me and Spencer putting it back together, Spencer Lewis, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Boss of the Hot Sauce. I'm gonna get him back out there and DJ again this year. Okay. He coming back out there. He don't know it, but he coming back out there. I'm putting it out there in the ethers right now to MC and DJ like he used to do over them years. And I got him out here. I'm gonna have him out here working at the Johnny Lawrence Jazz Concert Series too. I'm gonna have him involved with that, But hey man, can I get you on the roster for this year, man? Can I get y'all to come out and perform at I'm gonna tell you, I'm getting the date right now. It's August 27th out in Park Ridge Park, man. So can I get y'all to come out there, man?
Well, as I spoke of before, I do have to take it to the board.
Got to take it to the board.
You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for the board.
Yeah, I know Dr. A know about the board.
Right? Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Okay.
Hey man, any lasting entity has to have structure. Right. And hey man, to have these brothers in my life for over 40 years, man, is a tribute to my life.
Right.
I have other things that I do, but that's the part of the core of who I am. You told me that some years ago. You said you keeping quiet about a part of your life that is intricate in who you are, and you can't do that. And I had to think about what you said. And and what I didn't know was God was moving behind the scenes. With the death of my brother, it brought us a new popularity that I never expected. Right. But I'm grateful to continue to carry the torch. Right. So, and hats off to my guys, but more my brother who looks down. And we often say, man, he's whispering in God's ear, telling him to keep blessing my boys, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's Cricket talking about, like I said, and Vita out here, you know what I mean? Vita Hesterly, my sister, and Tracy. And I didn't know when unfortunately when he transitioned, right? and I'm seeing all these pictures with various people, and you know, fly on brother and hugs and stuff like that. And I seen pictures with Tracy and Alvin Cook, you know, one of our homies. Like I said, Tracy B, the Hesterly, and he was a staple in that crew. You get what I mean? He ran with them real tight. He was their brother and stuff like that. And that's that Ipsy Inkster connection that we had. Before you get out of here, man, Tony, I got something for you, right? Because you know Tracy always creates some stuff like that. But so the Inkster roller ring is back open again, man. It's back open. Man. Is it the Safari? Is it the Safari? I mean, do we got the Safari feel? I mean, what's happening? You know, tell me.
Hey, man, for me, it always has that feel because you know, the structure's the same. Okay. You know what I mean? Like when you walk on the floor, the foundation's the same. Right. The building's the same. Right. It's just under a different name. Right. Right. And like what, you know, we cut our teeth in there, man. It was like, that's where we gathered to try to hone our skills in dancing and perform. We didn't know. Right. We didn't know. Yeah. Right. But the beauty of it is, yes, it's there. It has a different name. It's right across the street of where Inkster High was originally placed, right there on Middlebelt. Right. And Middlebelt, right before, what is that? Michigan Avenue. Before Michigan Avenue. Yeah. And man, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to get courageous enough to put on some skates one day and go out there and try to see if my skills have in that area have withstood the task of time. But in any event, go out. It's open on Saturdays at 2, and there are other times and locations, but it's the Inkster Family Road. You know what, man? I'm gonna call it out, man. I'm gonna call this into existence. The rebirth of the roller skate ring. That's just the beginning of things to come. We're gonna see a renaissance around here. That Valerie said Safari saved a lot of us. I don't know what she said, but I think she said from trouble and stuff like that because it rolled off, right? Absolutely. But I'm calling that, man. I'm calling that. You get what I'm saying? I'm speaking life into that. That roller skate week, man, is going to bring some rejuvenation and revitalization to both of our communities. Absolutely. You get what I'm saying? Absolutely. And we're going to see a renaissance in our community, what have you. But like I said, Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Productions. And Tracy made these things for you, man. Do it as you please. Oh, wow. Check these out. You know, show them up there, man. Yeah. My heart goes out to Tracy again. Lanyards with Cricket's likeness on them. And, you know, when we wore these in one of the tapings for the documentary. Oh, you wore them in the documentary? Tracy, you hear that? You in the documentary? We wore these. Okay. And I thank her for this because it means a lot. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, man, take them and distribute them how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But Ear to the Ground 197, like I said, is brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Productions. Uniquely created gifts for any occasion. YouTube, Passionately Intrigued Arts. Instagram at Tracy Sweet Touch Production. TikTok at Estella Fabulous. And Pinterest, Miss Tracy E. Davis. You can email her at DallasDoDakota@gmail.com. And then you can find her at Tracy E. Davis on Facebook. Tracy made this cup for me, man. She gave this to me. Me and the hot sauce was together. You know what I'm saying? And there she go talk. She said she already knew they want extra. She said she already knew she was in the doc. How you gonna know you was in the documentary? I didn't even know you was in the documentary. But anyway, she made this cup for me, man. And then she made these coasters for me and what have you. And because she said she don't want to see no more styrofoam cups on the table. And she said she don't want no rings on the table. So she made me my own thing and my own coasters, man. So I wonder, Dr. A, if she got some water in here or something, she got to use them coasters, man. We gonna have some issues on there. You know what I'm saying? That's nice too, man. Yeah, yeah. You know, the community is still taking care of its own. That's what we do, man. Right. Yeah. Right. Because if not us, who? Who? It ain't gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? If not us, who? If not us, when? If not now. All right. So if you ain't got nothing else to say, man, we're gonna get out here and I'm gonna catch you on the flip flop, man, and holler at you later on, and we're gonna bring it on our next guest. Yeah, man. I just want to point out that you know, what is it? The next holiday is Mother's Day, ain't it? Mother's Day,
and then Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Inkster's having a Memorial Day parade.
Okay.
At 9 a.m. Will be featured in the parade. They're also going to have an unveiling of, and I'll get some of this information to you and some dates. And they're going to have a dedication of the sign, which is on all four corners of Inkster, Annapolis and Inkster Road, Middlebelt and Inkster Road, Cherry Hill and Middlebelt, and wherever it's four signs. So the mayor of Inkster, which is Patrick Wembley.
Patrick Wembley, right?
Yes, he will be presenting us at the Inkster Fest, which will be coming up in July. So things are happening, man. God is good. Thank you for doing what you do, brother.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep it rolling, man.
Yeah, our motto said we only can keep what we have by what?
Giving it away.
Yep. So that's Tony Warren. That's my partner right there from the world-renowned, world-famous Inkster's own Funketeers. We're gonna find out what's going on in a minute. So in a minute, partner, I'll holler at you later on. With that, we say all power to the people as we bring in our next guest. All right.
I appreciate you. All right. Yeah. No doubt.
What's your name? Alina Zachary Ross.
Alina Zachary, Tony Warren.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, I'm on up. Yeah, I'm good. We real. No, I'm being very forward. We right.
All right, Tony.
Yeah. If you can, go on Facebook and share this from my page. If you can, let's get more people. Hello again, everybody. My name is Bryan Foley, and welcome to Ear to the Ground 197. I'm your host. My partner, Mr. Tony Warren of the world famous Funketeers, just left from out of here. They got a new documentary coming up. He was sharing with us how the city honored them and put their name onto the city's welcome sign. So we want to welcome y'all this morning. We're going to be doing a little bit of things differently around Ear to the Ground 197. We're going to structure a little different. We're going to have more guests. And so who I have in here this morning with me at our regular time is Dr. Alina Zachary Ross. She is the superintendent of Ypsilanti Community Schools, and we have her this morning. And she's going to share with us what's going on in Ypsilanti Community School System. And we want to welcome you this morning. But I was sitting so comfortable, Doctor. It was Sharisa said she called you Dr. A or something like that.
Dr. AZR.
Dr. AZR, that's what it is, Dr. AZR. And so that's what she said she called you. So I'm gonna call you Dr. AZR. Okay, I'm gonna call you that. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm gonna do? I was so comfortable with my partner. I got my hat turned all on backwards and everything.
That's all right.
Let me. I'm sitting up here with the doctor, so I'm gonna kind of look dignified and take my hat off. And you get what I mean? Ooh, went to the wrong place. Maybe that's the sign right there. Kind of look dignified. Plus, you're supposed to take your hat off when you're in the presence of a lady. Okay, and I don't always do it. I'm trying to act all. You know what I mean? Like you ever watch The Little Rascals and Miss Crabtree. It was crazy about Miss Crabtree. So I'm trying to act like you Miss Crabtree. How you doing, Dr. AZ or Dr. Elena Zachary Ross?
Oh, I'm wonderful, and I'm just so happy to be on. I watch you, I subscribe, I come on in, and you just have, for real, this ear to the ground. I'm just happy to be here.
And thank you. And we happy to have you on here this morning. Who is Dr. AZR, Dr. Zeno? I'm just gonna do like this, Dr. AZR. Okay.
Hey.
All right. Okay. Where you from? You from around here?
I'm from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm born and raised in Detroit.
Okay.
Just love my city, love the community. And as you talked about, Inkster is part of the community.
Right.
Detroit is right down the road.
Exactly.
I lived here in Ypsilanti before I left for Muskegon Heights. So I have a lot of close friends and people I consider family right here in Ypsi.
Okay. Question. I hear the term all the time, but I don't know. But what is a school superintendent and what are the responsibilities and duties of a school superintendent? In particular, Ypsilanti Community Schools.
All right, well, the school superintendent is a big job, right?
Okay.
The job is really to uphold the policies of the district.
Okay.
So making sure that everything that we do are aligned with the board's policies. And that includes the budget, the hiring, the evaluations, the dealing with a lot of times the attorneys and the legal consequences. We run truly a $60 million company. We think of it as just the school district, but on my lens, I'm pretty much the CEO of this company. So making sure our grounds are safe, our students are safe, that we're implementing the curriculum that the board has approved. And so the job is broad, and oftentimes people say, what is it every day that you're doing? But it's really that bigger oversight, making sure that our directors are in line, our principals are in line, so that we can ultimately support our staff and support our students in the community.
Okay, all right. And I know somebody's going to say this, but we're going to get right into it, right? I came home last night, I turned on the news, and I see Dr. AZR on the news. And I know that when you have situations like that, into all investigations and stuff like that are done, there's some things that can't be shared. So I'm going to allow you the opportunity just to share what our viewing audience is, what you can share about what happened the other day at the middle school, just so they can have a sake of clarity. I know people going to ask.
I'm so glad they are, because the thing is we talk about we're stronger together, but we got to mean it. And we got to really operate in the safe, the sense of, if we're saying we're going to keep students safe, then we've got to do it. And so in that unfortunate situation where a student was in a classroom, didn't comply to what the teacher asked, but isn't that sometimes what middle school students do? I mean, didn't comply. And so the substitute teacher on the first day in the district, we've never had the substitute teacher before, did not respond appropriately. Used profanity, put their hands on the student, and pulled them out of the classroom. If people looked at that video, the assistant principal was right there. Why not have called the assistant principal that was right outside of the door? And we had to immediately take action. And so I hate that our students had to have that opportunity. That one student in particular, we immediately contacted the mother, contacted the police, made the report ourselves, contacted the other agencies that we as mandatory reporters must do. And as you said, it is an investigation, and the person is not a YCS employee. So when they ask about, well, what is the unions are going to do? What are you? We're not their employer. But we did notify their employer of what was going on, giving them the police numbers, making sure that they're cooperative, because we can't have people in our district who choose to respond that way towards our children. That is never acceptable. I don't care what's going on. All of us can have a bad day, but it is how we respond. It's never going to be tolerated. So that person, I don't know what the employers are going to do, but they would never be in our district, because we treat our kings and queens like the geniuses they are, even if they're not having a great day.
Okay, cool. And thank you for sharing that, so we can get a little clarity on going on, and you can hear directly from the school superintendent herself. you said something right there. You said the students maybe 14 or something, like 14 years of age or something
I
like
think
that.
really 11.
11. Okay. I was Derek Jackson asked me to attend this week at the Briarwood Kensington Hotel, I believe the name of it. Anyway, there was a conference that was put on by the Washington County Sheriff's Department, University of Michigan, Department of Public Safety, as well as the Ann Arbor Police Department. And there was officers from all over the world. And what the conference was centered around was problem-oriented policing. And what you had shared with was the age. And what I had read in some of the statistics, that at that age, 14 to 17-year-old, there are very few students who don't act out in some way or another. And without spending a lot of time and getting with the socioeconomic backgrounds that lead up to some of our children acting out, one of the things that I had read up in this particular study is that because of certain things that are occurring in our community, in society, at home, that the children don't really have a great focus or not interested in learning. And then that results in teachers not interested in teaching because they have to respond to students who don't really want to be there. Okay, so you're talking about this substitute teacher from outside of the community, right? How is YCH traversing these hurdles and obstacles by getting qualified teachers? And what I mean by qualified, not simply have the certification and the education and know-how, but teachers who have the empathy to understand the students that they are trying to educate.
Absolutely. They might not always come. Let me just start there, because we think they're just our interview process. We do have an interview process that we truly look at equity. We have questions about a behavior event inventory, how they're going to respond. However, we know that not everybody's going to show up like that. So we have to do the work when they get here, because we know there's a teacher shortage. We know they have to have certain credentials, and that's part of the barrier of why some of our folks can't get hired, because they don't have those credentials. And so when they come, it's our job to, first of all, make sure that they are equity focused. So we work with Yolanda Seeley Ruiz. When I talked about cultivating the genius, that's Goldie Muhammad and her lesson plans and her work. She works directly with our teachers. It's not no one and done. This is all year round. This is a part of our identity. Another piece of that, when they talk about that DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work, is about a sense of belonging. So we've got to make sure our staff all feel like there's a sense of belonging to this community. So when we talk about Stronger Together, yes, that first came, and I love my Taryn, so shout out to Taryn Willis if you're out there, with IPSI and Willow Run coming together. But this is about Stronger Together, that every single person in our schools make a difference. And if they see themselves as that change maker, as that a piece of belonging, then they're gonna want that student to feel like they belong as well. But we've got to equip them. That's our job, because they're not going to always come from our community, might not always understand what some of our students are going through, but their responsibility is to meet them where they are, to teach them, to provide them not just with the curriculum, but to lift up their skills for them to see their own genius so they can be whatever they want in life, not just graduate, but to have the skill set to go beyond that, to be the entrepreneur, to have their show, to do whatever they like to do.
Wow, thank you. And that's good to know. Anthony Williamson, Sharissa Allen, Charles Ramsey all spoke very highly of you, because, I think you and I only really talked the one time when we attended the school board meeting a couple weeks ago. So I didn't have a personal conversation with you, you know what I mean, to who am I talking about? Because you hear different things. Basically, what you hear is the negative things that are occurring in Ypsilanti community schools. And I'll be first to say that Ypsilanti community schools is not the school system that I attended through the late 1960s. How about this? Early 1960s through the late 1970s. My class, the greatest class to ever graduate from Ypsilanti High School, the class of 1978. We were the second class that went through the new high school. And I must say that it's not the same atmosphere. When I went to school, we had 2 football teams and we had 2 basketball teams at the freshman level. And our football teams were so big that you basically had 4 players playing at every position.
Wow.
So sometimes when I come to the school outings now, I'm like, where are all the people at? Where are all the interest in the sports? And then what I find out is that it's not just that you don't have a lot of players on the sports team. The enrollment is low. There's not as many children attending school as they did when I did. Now, we contribute that to a lot of people moving out, in particular because of our main source of income, if you will, that supported system was the auto industry, and that closed down. So that really just sucked the life out of the community, and we were a proverbial ghost town for a minute, and kind of still are, you know what I'm saying? And but it's not the same. What is the student enrollment right now, if you have the numbers? And if you can share what's the demographic, what's the ethnic and racial background in the school right now?
And so, first of all, I love that you addressed that, because the school is a reflection of the full community.
Exactly.
So when those things happen in our community, it impacts the school. Mm-hmm. And then what we do in the school impacts the community. And so that is why it's so important that we just continue to work together, mm-hmm. because as you talked about, there's some indicators that Inkster is with the skating rink.
Yes.
We have some indicators in the district of renewal, of life, of the fact that the city is turning around. And so I'm excited about that. We have a little over 3,700 students. We're up. Our enrollment, when other people were going down, our enrollment during the pandemic is slightly up. We're up 100 students. That for school districts right now, that's huge, because most districts are declining in enrollment. We have a variety of students. Again, to me, that's wonderful, because when I look at IPSI, I see all kind of culture. So 54% African American, about 30% like Hispanic, and then you've got about 20% whites or Caucasian. Our language, the number of languages that are happening, that we're covering is just growing exponentially. And so our EL programs, our English language learner programs are growing, not just at the elementary where people might think, but also at the middle school and high school. So yeah, it might look or feel a little bit different, but the community feels different. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want, is for all of us to start having opportunities like you have, like Anthony has, to come into the building, to talk to the students, to see the students. Because just like you talked about school districts, what happened in the 60s and the 80s, you're like, what in the world, the difference? Right. Now we're at, think about that, 2021. We talk about Generation Zers. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to meet the needs of this new generation and making sure that we can prepare them for this world, so that they can be the influencers in this community, like you are, like the Sharissa you said, and Anthony and Derek.
Yeah, thank you. When you said the population racial makeup, and I think you said 54% Black, right?
Yes.
And I shared probably the main cause of why we have a low enrollment, morale's down, and what have you, because of closing of the automotive plants. And not only when the automotive plants took off and left the community, so did some of our people. I'm a firm believer that blossom where you were planted. That's my motto. So if you was born here in the city of Ypsilanti, raised here in the city of Ypsilanti, then your responsibility is to blossom where you're planted. Let your tree provide the fruit for those who live here. Let your leaves provide the shade and what have you, and to nourish. So many people, and it's not just relative to Ypsilanti, our people racially classified as Black, as soon as they get a couple more dollars in their pocket and get a higher level of education, the first thing they want to do is start running out to the suburbs, right? And in this case, they run out to the township to get those better houses, them $100,000 houses, then $200,000, $300,000 houses, and then they forget where they come from. I can say that unabashedly, you get what I mean? But we have a responsibility to give back and to build. So when a lot of our influential people who have the skills took off and went to better ground, right? They left us, as the song says, left all us poor folks behind. And with them leaving, also left the connections. See, they didn't get this way on their own. They were connected to some people who got them where they were at. And then when they get a couple more dollars, $2, get a nice car, one of these $200,000 houses, they kind of forget where they come from. And then we see them during the day. I'm gonna be very honest. Many of them come up to Park Ridge Community Center at 9 o'clock in the morning, but after 5 o'clock, we don't see them no more. And I know the same thing occurs in the school system, that they come in to say that we're here to give back, we're here to help, but at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, they going back home to the comforts of their home. You see what I'm saying? And I understand that, you get what I mean? Because I'm concerned of what happens in my front yard. I'm concerned what happens on my street. I'm concerned what happens in my neighborhood, in my community. So I'm not so much concerned what takes out in those neighborhoods and them communities in Ypsilanti, Lincoln school system. So I understand folks not concerned who live out there, what current goes on in here in the city of Ypsilanti, right? So that void that was created right there is not so much as a school system as it is a social and a community problem. So how do we do, as me being a citizen, a concerned citizen, person live here, how can I help and work with the school system so that we can be a conduit, or we can even come in and talk with the young, well, let me back up a little bit and say this, and listen to the young women and men at the school system to hear what they have to say. Because we always got something to say. We always think we know what's best for our children, and ain't nobody asked them their opinions. How can community members, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a village, the proverbial village, to raise the children. How can we help? And is the school system doing anything to engage the community to help us help y'all?
Oh my goodness, thank you. You had a word right there, didn't you? Because even if folks decide to move and live wherever, you, like you said, we just can't forget where we came from and how we got here, because none of us are standing here alone. And so there, I wouldn't say individual community members, we just talked about the sub issues. So let's be real. Individual folks is not, coming in and just volunteering, but there's always an umbrella, right? We all got some safety in that. So like Mentor the Youth comes in to the middle school and works with our young men, with our young women, and they always need volunteers. Anthony comes in with a group and they go to the middle school and over to ACE, listening, finding out what's needed. There's always, if you're in a career, right? Yeah, you did get that job. Wonderful. Come on back on these career days to talk about your experience, the one we just had at ACE.
Yeah, keep on talking. Eric, quit giving excuses. I see you out there reading comments. Quit giving excuses.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities. They come in, just even if you just say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna come in and maybe there's opportunity to shadow at your job location or to advocate, because we're working really closely with the community college and saying we need some internships and apprenticeships. Your job might be the one to say, oh, I'll take a student in, because we need our students to know that they can see themselves. We talk about in education world, mirrors and windows. So they got to see themselves, that mirror to see you in there, but they also need a window to see out, like, oh, I can be in this role. I can do those things. And then if there's just the interest, you talked about the football team. Some people, they're like, they live in the memory of they were the football star. Great. Come work with the football team.
Thank you.
Come just spend some time with them. Come cheer them on sometime. Come to talk to them in the locker room. That don't take a full commitment, because I get people have a job, they have a family, they talk about they're stressed out with COVID, but these kids are too.
Hello.
And they need to see other folks. That's great. They see me, they see you too. But we need to see even more, because sometimes it's the same person talking over and over. They block that out, but they see somebody else in there. They come driving up in their car. Ooh, you got your gym shoes. They love that kind of thing and connect to different people. And so we need everybody to surround the youth, just like we have people looking after us.
Exactly. I'm gonna go here with that. Coach Ramsey is always inviting us. And when I'm talking about us, I'm speaking of an organization I'm a member of, which is Supreme Felons Incorporated, right? To come to the sporting events and engage with the youth. The teacher at ACES Academy, Lauren, I'm talking about
LFG is what I call
what
her.
You call her?
LFG.
Yeah, LFG. Yeah, okay. Lauren's coming over there, engage, right? So you hit on something right there, right? And what you said was, and you said on apprenticeships. Okay.
Interns and
internships, right? So what I have done is, what I am is by trade, as Sharice Allen says, it takes a village, and she's correct. What I have done is by trade, I'm a licensed electrician, I'm a licensed electrical contractor, excuse me. And when I went to West Junior High School, we had building trades in the school. I actually took welding, I took carpentry, electrical, plumbing in the schools. So right now in the junior high schools, we don't even have the wood shop class like we have to. So what I have done is, I'm a member of another group, something called the council. And we do have a principles, and that is what's said in these meetings stays in this meeting. Right. And we have to do that. You have to have structure. You get what I'm saying? Because still some people, I'm just going to say this, they like to take the credit for themselves and then run off and cut side deals. You know how we do that kind of stuff. But anyway, so what I have done is that I have met with virtually every business agent and organizer in Washtenaw County skilled trades. I met with the electrical business agent. I met with the plumbing business agent. I met with the labor business agent. I met with the bricklayers. I met with the, I met with iron workers, steel workers, elevators, like I said, pipe fitters and plumbers. And so what I did was I created a group that's called the Supreme Preparatory Building Academy.
All right.
Okay, it's in the working right now, right? So, but anyway, what I got was a commitment from all the skilled trades programs to assist us in engaging our youth and preparing them to get into the skilled trades. As skilled tradesmen, we make some good money.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I say we make some good money and we come straight out, number one, we don't have student loans to pay back. When you come to work, you getting paid. You got vacation, everything's paid for, and you get what I'm saying? And we make some good money. Right now, folks is making $75,000 right now.
Yes.
And it's not unusual for me to talk to one of my ABE brothers and see they've last year, their tax return say $125,000. And in this community, Washtenaw County, gentrification, right? There's some other environmental things and climate change that's drawing people from moving to this community. But anyway, what I did was I created this so I have the full participation and support of the skills trades. So I'm working currently right now with Anthony Williamson to work with Washtenaw Community College. And now I talked with Coach Ramsey, and I haven't made an official introduction to Ypsilanti Community Schools so that we can get our young men and or women involved into the skilled trades. Now, all this program is simply doing is preparing them. This isn't the actual skill trades program. See, because we as a community of people, we talk about trades and talk about getting becoming a skilled tradesman and think that all you have to do is pick up a screwdriver and a hammer, and all of a sudden now you're an electrician, carpenter, plumber. It's much more than that.
Yes.
So what this program is designed to do is, I'm selling it to you. What this program is designed to do is to teach our young men and women what is a screwdriver, what's the purpose of a screwdriver, what's a hammer, what's a saw, what's the difference between this saw and that saw, what are those little bitty lines on that tape measure, what do they mean? And so to become a tradesman, you have to have a working knowledge of algebra, geometry,
Absolutely.
trigonometry, and you know how to conduct yourself on the job. So what we want to do is we want to prepare. And this is what I was talking about. How can persons such as myself and my organization get some assistance and some help to Ypsilanti Community Schools? Because there's been this narrative that we got to get our kids into college. College isn't for everybody. And it's just not. You get what I'm saying? There's other occupations that don't require, quote unquote, college education. There's a whole bunch of fields. You get what I'm saying? But is there any kind of way, and I know I'm kind of babbling on, that we can engage and talk and partner and help? Or is that something school interested? School might not be interested in skilled trades. Let me just say that.
Well, it's interesting, and thank you for sharing that, because those are the things that, as the administration that is there now at YCS, I've been constantly saying this isn't about just the end game of getting a high school diploma. This is about preparing students for life and whatever they want to do. And so, as you mentioned, Anthony, we're working on a collaborative grant. And if this goes through, it's a partnership with Washtenaw Community College. We already have students dual enrolled. So even those students who are dual enrolled already in the welding program, this can be a complement to that. Whereas we're going to have 100 students who are going through, who will be able to, when they graduate from YCS, they will be able to have starting off, no matter what, a $40,000 a year job. If they decide to go to college, when we talk about the ease, they can enlist, they can enroll or be in that, and enroll in some kind of college or be an entrepreneur, because that is real today as well. And so, as we've been working on that grant, these are the kinds of things starting off really early. Now I want to start off at elementary, but we know that's going to come. We got to get the high school, middle school together. But the program we're writing is 612, the application. And what you're talking about is aligned to that. And obviously you have the corporation, so it needs to just be under the umbrella. Because as you mentioned, when I was a middle school principal way back in the 90s, we had all of those too, wood shop, but the rules changed, the accountability changed, the curriculum, what they want is exploratory, but we've got to get them through the curriculum. And so that's where those started getting pushed off. But we know we've got to start them early. You can't be talking about in high school, wait till 10th grade. And so exactly. I'm loving this connection, because we need to just build it and partner it. A lot of times we get people and they come to the district and have an idea. That is not a good idea, but there's no way to fund it, to put it, it has those umbrellas. We all have that safety under a covering. And so we can work together under, okay, how does this extend with, they're going through a pathway to go to the community college, maybe at 10th grade. Maybe they get some of these interests here so that they know they have the grade point average. They can do well on the acupuncture test, because as you said, some of these skilled trades, you read those manuals, they are at a college level.
They are.
I don't know why people think just because you're a bachelor's, are you kidding me? Those are at a higher level than those basic entry level college classes. And so we've got to back up and introduce the students earlier by giving them these connections. And so definitely there's a bridge, and we need to continue to connect about it.
We're going to continue. And I got to address, Yeah, this ear to the ground 197, you my friend and everything like that. They try to get me to move ahead of my schedule. You get what I'm saying? She wants us to talk about the millage, but we're gonna get to the millage. You get what I'm saying? We got to get let the folks know who Dr. Ari is and what's going on in school before we start talking about money and all that kind of stuff. It's more than just a political show. You get what I'm saying? And that's what ear to the ground 197. Okay. Valerie Keller Barr says Elena walks her talk. I haven't seen her since China. It must be childhood.
No, China. We went to China.
What China? I thought that was a typo, right?
No, it was not a typo.
Okay.
And we talk about racism and the stuff our students,
right.
We as adults felt it in China. We went to Beijing together, really trying to make sure that our students, we understood what was happening there, because we always look. You talked about it, like the grass is greener somewhere else. Right.
I said Ypsi Township. I said Lincoln Consolidated Schools. I said it. Yep.
Yeah, it's not brighter somewhere else. However, we can go look, see what's happening. We can learn, we can bring back things, and we don't value sometimes what we have. So we got the Valerie here, who has traveled internationally, who brings about, she has her own wonderful personality, but do we understand what she brings? And that's the thing with our students. They might look sometimes a little rough around the edges, but you talk to them, you talked about listening, man, geniuses.
Right.
Geniuses.
Yeah. You know, I never will forget the time that I put on a town hall at Park Ridge Community Center, where I wanted people to get to know what the elected officials did, and nobody came. But because there was activities going on in the community school, Anthony and Lavisa Brown highly suggested that some of these children come in and hear what the elected officials were and what responsibilities. And they sat there as what children do. You get what I mean? They were totally disinterested until I told them, I says that these elected officials work for you. Your parents pay their salary. You are their boss. When I said that, them kids stood up and hands went to raise, and they said they work for you. I said, yes, they do. And so the things that we don't think that they pay attention to, they actually just said, how come our roads are bumpy and fixed? Who's going to fix this in front of my house? And who did this and who did that? How come? And all of a sudden, we think they don't pay any attention, they don't know, but we don't give an opportunity to see, to experience and to express themselves, or give them tools to express themselves. Now, Eric, my good friend, he's been on the show sometime. We go back and forth, you get what I mean? And that's what we do, he and I and Ryan Griffin. So he said, he asked me to address the importance of literacy and advocate literacy and reading, right? And I heard, but I'm talking to the school superintendent right now. I heard that the reading level is not where it should be in Ypsilanti community schools. And we want to advocate on the importance of reading and literacy. Can we talk about literacy and reading a little bit? Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad, because it's funny, when I walked into the district, people were telling me, oh, the students aren't graduating with this and the students aren't graduating with that. And so we did do an audit and looked at, we have all these partners, we had all these extras, but we didn't have a systematic K-12 English language arts curriculum.
Okay.
And that's when I came, just a year before the pandemic. And so the board put their money where their mouth was and purchased the curriculum, and we started doing the implementation. We moved a lot of that stuff out of the way. And then of course we had the pandemic. This literacy issue is, again, a whole community issue, because when we're talking to the parents, they have a literacy issue too, some of them. And so we've got to say, this is important to all of us. So for us, not only have we purchased the curriculum, we have tutoring, Michigan Reading Corps during the day, not because we know we can control the daytime hour. We have Michigan Reading Corps folks coming in who know how to continue to improve literacy in our buildings. We then just wrote and received a $750,000 a year literacy grant. So we purchased already over $50,000 in books where the people in the books look like our students, and they're not characters. They're literally representing them. We also have every month now a giveaway. We want to, for no money, we want to build the literacy libraries at home, because the data of how many books are at home versus how many books are in other communities at their home, it's a vast difference. And so we know we've got to do more as the school here. From even when they walk into kindergarten, it's almost a 1 million word gap between our community and other communities. And so our responsibility, not anybody else's. I know our reading scores, and I have a problem addressing it because I know what we're doing. We are, when they come in, our kids, our students in pre-K are the only students in this county who have the iPads, only because we know we got to start early. We know there's some making up that we have to do starting from when they come in, not because of a parent's fault. It's it's systemically we're broken. Our parents are going to work. They got 2 jobs. They can't be coming home and doing all this homework and paying for a private tutor and paying for private camps. That's why we do the Grizzly Learning Camp, so that we can have learning going on much more time, because we need time too, than other communities. And so we're happy to address it, because we're looking every way we can to put literacy in front of students. And you know what you just talked about, that in terms of careers, that's why that's our focus. While we're really working on this partnership and improving and having more of our students in dual enrollment, because we know we've got to accelerate. We can't go back and try to do this remediation. And when we give them those career tech manuals, when we introduce them to that language, that moves up their Lexile levels. And so we're doing this unapologetic acceleration, because we already had literacy issues before the pandemic. And now the pandemic has just made it worse for all of these kids. And so that's our job. That's what we're doing. And that's why we're putting the money behind it and the people and the resources behind it, because we know if we give them the tools, as you said, that our students have everything beyond everything, because they've got the additional burdens, some other burdens and challenges to do better than their neighbors. They're ready. They just need those additional tools.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And because a lot of times we'll point the finger at and blame a failing school system for problems that are happening in the homes, and then saying our teachers are not doing things, but our children bring their issues from home into school, and then the school does the best that they can, but then they go back home to a dysfunctional household. So I'm glad to hear you say that you're making sure that they have the tools at home to deal with those things. Okay, so I'm learning a lot. Some of the bad things that I was hearing about what was going on in Ypsilanti community schools, and now I'm beginning to understand, and I can say this, that when the educators, the facilitators at the school, whether it be coaches, teachers, or whatever, counselors, they always give me a good report. But then when I look at the numbers, they don't line up. You get what I'm saying? You feel me?
Well, let me address those numbers, because what folks look at is that proficiency. Like I told you, when we started kindergarten and our students are coming in not even knowing some of those basics that others do, we're starting off there. And so our growth, when they tell you that the data, it's the growth data from when we got them to that next year, they're growing.
Okay.
And when you compare to other districts, especially in our county, when our students go there, they don't grow like this. And so we look at proficiency on the MSTEP. I bet if you looked at half of us, how did we do on the ACT, SAT? It didn't align to our growth or to our ability we had. We understand that those tests have implicit bias built in. So we got to look beyond the MSTEP. We got to look beyond that, because we didn't write no MSTEP. We got to look at where national norm test, not state norm, national norm. So we take NWEA MAC like all these other school districts. That's what our teachers are saying, because when a teacher gets them in the fall and when they test them throughout the year, when that growth is there, that's what not only the district should be looked at, that teacher should be looked at, that student, because then when we talk about the district is spelled, no, you're talking about students. Because we are brick and mortar. And we saw the last 2 years, if we dare not, we still serve students. And my students are not failures. We're not going to talk about the students in YCS.
Right.
Because they show up, they grow, they perform. Half of them, they go to work and they go to school. That takes a lot. We know how it is just to go to work. Some of them are managers at the McDonald's down the street. They're managers at the plant. And so we've got to understand that we've got to, first of all, watch our language.
Come on now.
and empower and tell them, not even empower, because that sounds like they don't have the power. They already have the power. We just need to remind them of the power that they have and tell them like you did. This is why it's important for you to know what these politicians do, because they work for you. This is why you need to know this reading and why we got to improve on it, because you want to be this welder.
Right.
Come on. We've got to lift them up, because when we outside talking about their school district, they know that. They feel like, oh, I gotta go, and that you're looking down on them. It's not looking down. I have my degrees. Our teachers have their degrees. We need to think about what we're saying to them, because we know what that means in our head.
Right.
I live in this neighborhood. I got on these clothes. They got enough of that.
Right.
When is it that we're going to lift up our students?
Yeah. Woo, you said a word right there. I think we got the right one. We got to keep her around, right? You said something right there, and I liked it when you said to empower, right? Because they already got the power.
They do.
And my understanding, and I'm terrible about words, but the etymology of the word education comes from the Latin word educare or something like that. And I forget how it's pronounced, but an education is not to instill in, but it's to bring out.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now you shared a lot of information. So now let's talk money. Okay, now let's talk
I
money.
brought some notes.
Okay, right. So now let's talk money, right? Okay. So first of all, what I remember, all I can remember growing up is they got to pass the millage. They got to pass the millage. They got to pass the millage, right? First of all, what is a millage? Break that down, and then we go from there. So the folks even know what a millage is. You get what I mean? What is a millage? I look at the scientific method is 3.5% of the property taxes. Well, anyway, go ahead.
No, and I'm glad you talked about beforehand. So just real briefly, back before 1994. So when we all before we graduated, it used to be 34 meals. I mean, that literally went.
What's a meal?
The meals, that's how much per tax dollar that they pull out
there we go.
to give to certain pots.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So when we're looking at that, usually we're just talking about the whole thing. So back in the day when it was 34 meals, it was districts who, because taxable value is different, districts like Ann Arbor, whose houses were more, they were counting on that local part of the whole per people spending was a lot more than in Ipsy and in Willow Run. So in 1994, Proposal A came and they tried to equal that out.
Okay.
When they equaled it out, that's why the new thing came where we started having to ask for people to vote, because they wanted to lower the taxes for homeowners. So they took out the school meals from your home tax. So now the millage is only, this millage that we're talking about is only for those businesses, commercial properties, land, if you're on rental properties.
Okay.
It only impacts that. And that was a change since 1994.
Okay. Now, so it only impacts that. So somebody has to pay for it, right? So it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I heard this before I look at it, that the renters, so if you're a renter, you're the one who actually going to be paying into that. Is there some truth to that?
Well,
is it going to impact the renter?
It should not impact the renter, because this isn't new. This is so it's non-homestead, all businesses, all if you become, we all start getting blessed and have all this property, we're going to pay different types of taxes if we have that, we're in that bracket of non-homestead.
Okay.
So this is not new. This has been happening even before 1994. If you were a business, then they always collected meals.
Okay.
And so this is a renewal. I'm glad you said that. This is a renewal. It won't be an increase to any of the business owners, the people who own these rental properties and land. This keeps everything the same. What's really important to know, and this is what people don't understand, and even when I was a teacher and before I was a superintendent, I don't think I really got it. When we think of the whole $8,700 that each school district gets per pupil, we think that all comes from the state. Well, the state only gives us a percentage. Out of that $8,700, the state gives $5,400. So their assumption is that all these years, local tax has paid the additional. Okay. So the additional $3,200, this is what those 18 mills are about. And so it just, the taxpayers have to say, yes, we want the district to be able to collect it. We can't just go and tell the city government, give us this money. But as the taxpayers renew it, then yes, we continue to be whole. We continue to get the whole $8,700 per pupil. And so that's the part people think, oh, we're asking for something different. This is something new. This is going to give Ypsilanti Community Schools more dollars. No, if it doesn't pass, we'll not have $11 million per pupil. Right. And so talk about the inequity, not only we get the $8,700, and I'm glad that the state has made it where everybody gets equal, not equitable, but equal. However, our neighbors, remember I talked about Proposal A, they even get hold harmless money. So when Proposal A came in 1994 and they were paying more to tax, they continue to give them more. So they get more than the $8,700 into their general fund because of the hold harmless. We don't get a home harvest. We get our regular, local, and state funds to make up the $8,700 in general funds. Okay, great. Good to know. So I see you got some notes. Yeah. Go ahead. Well, and because people wanted to know also, like, okay, is it renewal? Yep, it's just a renewal. And on the ballot, it says like 18.5, and people are like, oh, you want more? Well, there's another one of those behind the scenes things. It's called a Headley rollback. Okay. And so before the money comes to the school, they start when the city and the township and all those are looking at where this money goes, back with this Headley rollback days, that 18 mills can become at sometimes 17 point something. Well, when the taxpayers say, I'm going to do the 18.5, which it has always been 18.5, all that says is whatever for the Headley rollback, it could be maybe 0.5, 0.3, whatever it is that gap is, they can give us up to 0.5 to make us at 18 every year. It never goes over 18. Okay. We never ask for more money. It never happens where a business starts paying more or where the business's taxes go up and now the renters are impacted. That doesn't happen. Okay. The other thing I had on my notes is people ask, well, what is it used for? Okay. What's general fund? So we have general fund, we have a sinking fund, we have debt fund. Well, the general fund is the crux of everything. Okay. It's what we pay our teachers, our bus drivers, cooks, custodians with. It's how we pay our DTE and light bills. It's everything, transportation, how we pay for the buses and the gas that just went up. It's the general fund. All those other funds, ESSERS, they might be like, oh, you got ESSERS funds. That is very specific.
What's the ESSERS for?
ESSERS. Oh my, yes.
What's ESSERS?
Oh my goodness. The relief fund. My brain is going dead this morning. But that's that. We only have 3 years to use it, and it's very specific. Yes, it's 23 million, and it's for all of those COVID relief. It's for, that's what we were talking about, the filling the gap for the learning loss or the learning that didn't happen. It's so targeted, and we had to apply before we've even gotten it. You have to apply for it. In the application, you have to say what you're going to use it for. So that's where we got community input and ask for community to come and tell us. And then you have to pay it first. It's reimbursed. It's not even like they give it to you. You got to pay it out. And then you show them your receipt. And so all of those funds are different. This is our only general fund. Okay,
that's great. So it sounds like this is something that's really needed, and not just a quote unquote tax increase, right? But it's something that is viable for the sustainability of the school system, so that the teachers, facility, faculty, everybody is better equipped, if you will, to better serve our students, you know. But with all that being said, we know that money is a necessary, it's an instrument and a tool, but if we're investing in something where the teachers aren't qualified, right? Or the students aren't interested, right? So we can get all this stuff, but if there's not any connection right there, then it could be all for naught. So is this money will be used, if passed, to make sure that we get the right educators, the right teachers, so that they can understand the children are better equipped to train, and not just somebody who comes to the school to collect a paycheck, but to make sure that they have our children's education at the forefront, as well as their health and welfare, you know?
So,
because I know, and I know that's a lot, because I say the lack of interest of our students going to school isn't a direct cause and effect of the school system, but what happens at home, in the neighborhood, and in the community. And our children carry that trauma to school with them. And then you have to manage that trauma and still trying to educate the children. You get what I'm saying? So we can buy all these nice things, but if it's not there.
So first of all, this is not above and beyond money. This is literally, this is like how your basic, like if you just need to survive, you need $100 a month to survive. This is basic. This is not, we're not asking for anything above. If we don't have it, then for real, the system, we lose 11 million. That means that's cutting transportation and custodian. Literally, there's no way to make the district run the way it is. So it's going to be less of what's served. We can't, I just need to explain. $11 million, we won't be transporting students on a bus. We won't have any buses. That's that big of an input. Second of all, I got to push back on two things. First of all, my students again. Now I'm going to talk about my students don't want to be there. Because even during the pandemic, our students showed up online. They came to school. They came to Park Ridge. They might not be able to express it, even if it's for social reasons. School is important to our students. Now, those high schoolers who didn't come, many of them were at work. Let's just be real.
Let me defend you. Let me back up to that. By going over to ACES school, I asked, where are all the students at? And exactly what they said. They're at work. But why are they at work? Because they have to.
They do. Take care of it. They're part of their breadwinner for their family. But they do still want to get that education. Some of them ask us, oh, why is it important to get the diploma? And that's why I don't just talk about the diploma. Because for them, a diploma, when I can already go get, especially now, I can get $18 an hour at Culver's. Not anything wrong with paying more at these other places, and it's nothing wrong with working at those places. It's just, you might have a hard time there. And if you don't have a diploma, you somewhere else might require the diploma. Or to be able to own the Culver's, you probably need the diploma and you need more. So we've got to, again, shift. We're shifting that language. And then also the staff members, because many of them who come They might not look like us, but they did go to Eastern. Most of them did their student teaching here. They felt themselves at home here. They have a relationship with our students here. And as you said, not just people that don't look like us, people that look like us. If I get trained in IPSY, I get my degrees, they've taught us, they've mentored us, they leave out. It's not that I don't try to hire people that look like our students that aren't from the community. They do see opportunities and we talked about the neighbor has additional funds, can pay for, they go because they think that, again, that's a better thing for them. So the ones who are here serving, they got to be appreciated. They don't come saying, I'm looking for, because if they were looking for a paycheck, they wouldn't come to IPSY. Let's be real. They go to those places that pay a whole bunch. They're coming here for usually some kind of connection. They went to EMU, they got some family, or they had some kind of experience. And a lot of them choose to stay with us and they choose to be in this community. And I think folks got to look at that. They can go next door to Ann Arbor and get a whole bunch more money. And so the ones who are here, it's Teacher Appreciation Month month coming up May. I'm appreciating them. And the ones, especially, most of them stay. And what they're giving to our students is beyond. Our teachers do well, and you know this by being in the book. They come and work hours. They give their very best. They bring in stuff. They spend their own money. I wish I could pay them all a whole. If we had it, we sure enough would give it. And so when people give to that money, give and vote yes, and those businesses who pay, know that that's the basic. This isn't giving us beyond. We write grants for that. So that's $750,000 for the next 5 years. We brought that in. We got $5.1 million for teacher recruitment and retention. We wrote those grants. The extra, we don't come asking for the community to do it. We just ask the community to give what they would do if you lived in any of these other communities. Every community in Michigan pays this millage. There's not one right now that doesn't. We have one that doesn't pay the 0.5, and they're asking for that from their community. It's not nearby, but every community in the state. And so we want to give above that. We do believe that it's important. And we want our students, when they leave out, we want this community proud of Ypsilanti Community Schools. And that's what we're working towards right now.
I'm going to leave it anonymous, but I got this on a text. It says, "This is a great interview and she's on point. I would love to work for this woman in this educational space." Now, I got that on the text. That's not on the screen, and I'm gonna leave the name anonymous. You get what I'm saying, for that purpose. But with that, I kind of lost my train of thought what I was going to do, because we're on a roll.
Having a good time.
So,
I'm enjoying it.
So what I was going to ask is, Gail Summerhill.
I love you.
Yeah, she suggested that you come on the show for this reason right here. And we wanted to have you on earlier because we know the millage, the voters would be too
absentee. Yes, some of the
that's what I was getting ready to say.
People.
See, Ear to the Ground 197 is non-political party affiliated, even though we work with the League of Women Voters, and we do these empowerment cards and stuff like that. And we encourage people to vote, and we encourage people to go, but we are information based. So we're not only just not affiliated with any particular, aligned with any party, we're nonpartisan. But when the information is put out, and it's put out correctly. So all of y'all who sent them absentee ballots in, y'all can spoil that ballot, go back, spoil your ballot, and go ahead and change it and change your vote to yes. You heard the reason why. And that's why Gail wanted you to be on this show, so they can hear an intelligent and intelligible way of understanding what this millage is about and why we need it. So I'm encouraging everybody out here to vote yes. And please do me a favor, share this video, hit like, and hit Y1, because it stimulates the algorithm. And also we're broadcast live on YouTube Live for you people say you got a lot of people say that I ain't into the Facebook. I ain't on Facebook. It's on YouTube. Right. So you can get the information, right? And so when you go vote, I'm encouraging you to vote yes. And you just heard the reasonings why we need to vote yes. So before I give Dr. AZR her gift, I'm going to ask her one more question, and then we're going to try to get up out of it because I respect your time and respect the viewers' time on. So, and I think you kind of answered it, but I'm going to say this right here. Why shouldn't a parent take their child from out of Ypsilanti Community Schools and enroll them into Ann Arbor Public Schools, Ypsilanti Community Schools, Canton Schools, Chelsea, Milan, Saline? Why shouldn't they do that? Good morning, Janice. That's Janice Thompson out here, right? She said she's a school board member. She's in Ohio. So why shouldn't I take my child from out of Ypsilanti Community Schools and take them over there to, you know, they look real good over in them schools. You get what I'm saying? And I've been there, you know, and we just not shining. You know, I'm just saying we ain't shining, Doc. Okay. Why shouldn't I do that? Tell me why I should keep my child here in Ypsilanti Community Schools.
Because your child is going to get that individualized learning plan. Your child is going to have a sense of belonging. Your child is going to be understood. We always talk about, do we hear you? Do we see you? Do we value you? Do we respect you? Students in YCS know they can email me, call me out, talk to their teachers, have that sense. And that's the thing is, I want parents to know that they do have the power. Parents in our district call me, email me. They talk to their principals. They know their principals. It's not, we're small enough where your voice is heard. If we're not doing what we need to do, because we hear that on the outside, but then we say, did you talk to the principal? Did you talk to the teacher? Did you talk to me? No.
Okay, right.
If we dissatisfied, I gotta say it, if we dissatisfied, then let's work together to say what we're gonna do. Because that's the difference here, is that your child's needs are going to be met. And if we're not doing it, then you have, talking about the power to come and call us on it. And we need to do what we need, whatever is needed for your child. And we're willing to do it. Not every other place might be too big, might not have that interest, because you're not whatever profile. When our students show up, we see genius. We see that they have skills that we just gotta sometimes, just like when we were younger, they gotta just work with us. And that's what we're doing with our students. And we've got students, people don't talk about those students. We've got students who are getting scholarships that are the students of the year. We've had for this county, the teacher of the year, the last two years. And so we've got to see the value and look for it. And I just also encourage some of our parents that are out there. Your children are amazing. They're doing an amazing job. They're getting scholarships. We've got to talk about, and that's me. Now I'm gonna put it on myself first. We've got to start talking about what our district is doing better and beyond our others, because there's so many opportunities for our students that other districts don't give. And so we want you to bring every student that's in this community back on home to Ypsilanti Community School, where you belong.
All right. You heard it from the doctor, Dr. Elena Zachary Ross, Superintendent of Ypsilanti Community Schools. Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located right across the street from the Ypsilanti Public Library. Get all your educational materials and stuff like that. You guys work with Blackstone Bookstore?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
Right. All right. So that's my good friend over there. I know you know Athena. Yeah. Athena Johnson, Kip Johnson, Andrea Franklin, and my main man over there, Mr. Carlos Franklin. That's Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located right across the street from the Ypsilanti Public Library. Also, Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Tracy E. Davis, Tracy Sweet Touch Productions. She always makes things for our guest over here, and she has made this for you right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Ear to the Ground 197, we won't be broadcasting from the studio next week. I don't think so. But what we're going to be doing is we shall be having a community cleanup, park community cleanup. And what we're doing over there is we're restoring, revitalizing rededicating Park Ridge Park. And to those youth, it was youth driven, the reason why that park is the way that it is. And it was youth driven. Ypsilanti high school students is the reason why we have a swimming pool in the city of Ypsilanti. And that was done by United Youth on the Move. So what we're doing is at the top of the hill right there, there's a flagpole that don't have a flag up there. There's a flower bed that don't have no flowers, and a rock that's missing a plaque. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to clean up our park and get stuff moving and stuff like that. So we're probably going to be broadcasting live from Park Ridge Park. So we're inviting everybody out for our Supreme Community Cleanup is what we call it. Supreme Community Cleanup. And we're going to have food out there. And we ain't just going to have no hot dogs and hamburgers. We're going to have some ribs, stuff like that. Right. Yeah. So we're going to come out there, have a little music playing, some rakes and stuff like that. And we're going to be cleaning up.
Don't just come eat. You got to come do some
Got to come do some work now. Right? So we inviting everybody to come out and assist us to clean up if the Park Ridge Park, because it's your park, right? Yeah. So what did Tracy get you? I know you put it back in the bag.
I'm loving this.
Yes.
And I'm thank you for sharing, because this is beautiful. And all this, I'm looking at all this.
Yeah, you see, I got stuff all over here, kind of stuff. What do you say on this?
Yeah. YCS, Black and Bougie.
Black and Bougie. This is Ypsilanti Community School.
I love this, and this is my color. So I'm loving this, Tracy. I'm going to be following up. Thank you.
Yeah, Tracy always everything is personalized. She doesn't mass produce, manufacture. Each gift that she makes, not simply for this show, but for all of the gifts that she has. And you can find her, like I said, Tracy Sweet Touch Productions, uniquely created gifts for any occasion. You can find her on YouTube at Passionately Intrigued Arts, Instagram at Tracy Sweet Touch Production, TikTok at Estella Fabulous, Pinterest at Miss Tracy E. Davis, email her at DallasDakota@gmail.com, and finally at Tracy E. Davis on Facebook. I'm gonna say something. Y'all see that the little words right over there by Dr. AZR right there says $ ear to the ground 197. Hey, you're in the studio, right? This is not free. And it's we got to pay to be here.
Absolutely.
Throw something in there. Throw ear to the ground, a little something on a cash app or something, so we can continue to produce and continue to have quality guests on here, so we can continue the roll that we roll. Very, very seldom do I say, hey, solicit, you know what I'm saying, funds. Very rarely we got to support, because it's not free. And I think that I provide a service. Absolutely. I think that I do, right? And everything. So before we get out of here, Dr. AZR, you got the final word.
Number one, I just want to thank you for giving this opportunity to talk more than beyond the millage, because Ypsilanti Community Schools is about the community. Secondly, I want to just invite everyone out. Like, there's more ways than volunteering just in the school day. If you have a job, we understand that, but there's a career fair. We need great quality people. People talk about that. Send them our way. We need every bus drivers, cooks, custodians. There's one next week. Come on out. Everything's on the website. When we have our jazz in the parking lot, come support. We want to see you. It's not about just what we can get from your time, but being in the community with you, learning about you, learning that you went to Ypsilanti Public Schools or Willow Run. Great. Bring those skills and talents back. And if you can volunteer, we need you. We know we cannot do this at all by ourselves. We talk about stronger together. We mean it. And so if there's some things that you can do to partner with us, like you just talked about, let us work together on behalf. We got one shared goal, and that's for our students. This isn't about adults. This is about the YCS students. Okay. I'm gonna have the last word. Can we bring the purple and gold back and get rid of that old grizzly bear? I don't like that grizzly bear. I don't like the grizzly bear. I'm a brave to the day I die, bleed purple and gold. So we can bring the brave, get the Braves back and get rid of the grizzly bear. We got Braves. We have the go, raising the flag, up, down. You got to come see if you haven't been to the high school, come to a game and see how we have them both represented, because it hasn't gone away. That spirit is still there.
You know what? I'm gonna bring you back again because it's something just hit me when I talk about sports. My good friends, E.L. Weathers and Levada Weathers, they want to know, where is the Willow Run trophies and stuff like that?
Right downstairs. Come, we got them out.
You got them out?
They are in cases. That's why I want people to come, because if people say stuff that's not, who haven't been in the building.
Oh,
it is beautiful. And we've got both logos up. We've got the trophies out. Come on to the building. Come see what it. Don't listen to what they say. Come and see.
All right. See, okay. So EL, the beta, if y'all out there. Sure, ain't nobody asked you about no class of 1980. Y'all knuckleheads. Class of 78, the great class 78.
And the Weathers are wonderful partners with us. They just got to come to the building. They are excellent.
Okay, all right. So ear to the ground, we out of here. And what we're going to do is we're going to see you next week. I'm going to play this song right here. This song was written by my friend Keith Boone of the Soulful Soulmates, Robert Evans, Jack Lee, Milton Ellis, and what have you. And what the name of the song is, that it's called People We Got to Do Better. And I think it's so appropriate. This is People We Got to Do Better, written in the early 80s by Soulful Soulmates. This was, we had bands back in the days. And this band right here used to play what we was talking about with Tony about Summerfest and everything like this. And this was written by Keith Boone. It's called People We Got to Do Better. Yeah, so I think it's so appropriate. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the mic is still on, so we can't be talking about nobody.
No, I agree. But we gotta do better. I love this.
Thank you, Valerie. Valerie says it's a great show. So yeah, and you shared a lot of information, and I'm glad that
you'll invite me back.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Kitty Harding. I hear you, Cheryl. I know Kitty. That's my man. Okay, we used to call him Mumbles. Kenny Hardy, yeah. So with that, I thank you, Janice. You're welcome, Janice. I don't know if y'all can still hear me over the music, but that's just my theme song. People We Got to Do Better. So we can get up on out of here.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
And thank you for this gift.
Okay.
Thank Tracy, and reach out to her.
Yeah. Did she have a card in there? Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay.
I'm glad she does.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she made it for me last week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, be careful that you don't.
I don't see it.
Okay. I'm trying not to get up. I done put on so much weight. I gotta watch for getting up. Thank you for you cleared up a lot of misinformation that we hear and confirmed a lot of other things. Like I said, Charles Ramsey, Anthony, Teresa, and all they said was straight them down. She the real deal. So okay, we're gonna find out. Seriously, so you can tell them that's what they told me.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. I'm serious.
Oh, we gonna come back again. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. We try to do some stuff. We'll see you soon. Okay. All right. Yeah, people, we got to do better if we want to make it together. I'm Bryan Foley. See you next week, ear to the ground. As I would say all the time, all power to the people, and I'm out of here. Peace.